Okay, so what if I told you that the way we write software is on the verge of a massive shift? What if you could take a single AI coding assistant and instead of just talking to it, you could ask it to build an entire specialized team for you? In this explainer, we're diving into a brand new architecture that does exactly that, and it's turning the role of a coder into something, well, something more like a conductor.
All right, if you're a developer, you know this feeling all too well, right? End-to-end tests. They're absolutely critical for making sure your app actually works, but man, they are a huge bottleneck. It's that slow, repetitive work that can just grind a super fast, agile team to a halt.
So the big question is, how do you smash through that bottleneck? Well, the solution we're going to dig into today, it's not just some new shiny tool. It's an entirely new way of thinking about AI assistants. A new kind of AI workforce that's starting to completely reshape how professionals get things done. And look, this isn't just a coding thing. This is happening pretty much everywhere you look. We're seeing these kinds of AI assistants popping up in all sorts of industries, and they're all designed to do one thing: take over the tedious, time-consuming tasks so that the human experts, that's you, can focus on the creative, strategic work.
A perfect example of this is something like Notion's new AI. It doesn't just do one little thing. It transcribes your meetings as they happen, it pulls out the key takeaways and action items, and it even connects those transcripts with your own notes to give you the full picture. It's a whole system of smaller skills all working together. Now, take that idea, because that's exactly what's coming to software development, but it's being turned up to 11.
So, let's grab that idea of a whole team of skills and bring it right back to our world: code. We're about to go from having a single AI assistant to managing an entire crew of them. And this is where we meet the star of the show, subagents. Seriously, the best way to picture them is like specialized members of your own personal AI team. Each one is hired to do one very specific job and to do it absolutely perfectly. So, what exactly is a subagent? Well, think of it this way. You have a main AI, your main agent, who acts like the manager. Whenever it hits a specific, focused task, it can actually create a brand new specialized AI, a subagent, and just delegate the work. The subagent is the expert you bring in for one job and one job only. And the difference between them really boils down to one word: focus. The main agent is your project manager. It knows about the entire project, the big picture. But the subagent? It's the specialist. It gets only the specific context and the specific tools it needs for its one task. Nothing else. And that isolation, that's the secret sauce. By cutting out all the extra noise, the subagent gets way faster, way more efficient, and frankly, produces much higher quality work. So, for our big E2E testing headache, we can build our dream team. First up, we hire a specialist called the E2E Scenario Analyzer. Its only job is to look at a web app and dream up every possible test case you could ever run. Then we have the Playwright E2E Tester. Its job is even more focused. Take just one of those scenarios and write the test code for it. That's it. All right, we've got our team. Now, how do we put them to work? Here's the game plan, the blueprint for how this whole automated workflow comes together. It all starts with simple delegation. The main agent just says, "Hey, Scenario Analyzer, go figure out all the tests we need." The analyzer does its thing and comes back with a big list. But then, and this is the real magic trick, instead of giving that whole list to one coder, the main agent hires a whole team of those E2E testers. It gives each one a single scenario from the list, and then, and this is the absolute game changer, it tells them all to start coding at the exact same time. You see, that single shift from working one by one to working all at once, in parallel, it creates this huge leap in speed and efficiency. Let me show you what I mean. So bam, one agent is already coding the test for creating a new memo, while another one is simultaneously writing the code to test the search functionality. And a third is already working on the delete test. All of this is happening at the exact same moment. The result? It's just a massive leap in productivity. The total time it takes to get a full suite of tests is slashed because everything's happening in parallel. And since each agent is in its own little bubble with an isolated context, the code they write is cleaner and more accurate. Meanwhile, the main agent is now freed up to just, well, manage the process from a high level. But of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. As the experiment in our source material showed, when you're managing a team of super powerful, autonomous AI agents, you run into a totally new kind of problem. Yeah, because when you have all these super efficient agents working in the same system at the same time, well, they can start stepping on each other's toes. They can actually interfere with what the other agents are trying to do, and things can get messy.
And the source material really hits the nail on the head here. The single most important part, the thing you have to watch out for, is what they call dependency conflicts. To make this whole system work, you have to think ahead and figure out how the actions of one AI might affect all the others.
Let me give you a super clear example of how this can go sideways. Imagine this. Agent A is running its test to create a new memo. At the exact same time, Agent B is running its test to delete that very same memo. And then Agent C comes along to run its test, which is to count how many memos are on the page. Its test is going to fail, and not because its code is wrong, but because its AI colleagues messed up its environment.
And this right here, this is what shows us how the developer's job is fundamentally changing. Your role starts shifting away from writing every single line of code yourself and more towards becoming an orchestrator. Your new job is to design the workflow and manage the dependencies to make sure your entire team of AI agents works together in harmony.
And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? As these multi-agent systems get more and more powerful, is the main job of a developer still going to be coder, hunched over a keyboard writing logic? Or is it becoming something else entirely? Something more like a conductor, standing in front of a whole orchestra of AI agents, just guiding them to create something incredible?